Hello and welcome back to the Rainbow Stork. So last time we talked about choosing a sperm donor and the process that I went through to find a donor for my initial IUI procedure. The procedure itself is actually very short. It took about 5 minutes once I was at the clinic. So that day looked like me arriving at the clinic at whatever scheduled time I was supposed to be there, them taking the sample, they prepared it. It may have taken, I don't know, half an hour, maybe, probably less than that. And then once I got back to the room, the procedure itself took about 5 minutes, and then I had to lay on my back for about 15 to 20 minutes before I was able to go on about my day. Now, the procedure itself was not painful typically, but I did have one of the procedures that I did was actually painful, and I think that is really just a reflection of skill level. A disclaimer, Dr. Shamanki did not do all of my procedures. Some of them were done by other people in the clinic, and as you can kind of tell from what I'm saying, I had to do this more than once. And so my first IUI, I don't know, you couldn't tell me I wasn't pregnant. For me, the odds of being pregnant or the chances of me being pregnant were something like 12 or 13%, given my age and the quality of my eggs at the time. But almost immediately, I started getting all of these pregnancy symptoms that I didn't even know were symptoms. I just started feeling very differently. And one of the things was an aversion to smell. But there were so many other things. And I was like, yo, this is different. So maybe this is it. Like, oh my gosh. And so the nerves set in, right? Because now I'm having to face the idea that, hey, I might actually be pregnant and become a mom. And I'm really doing this on my own. So it was really scary. And then just the wait before taking the pregnancy test. I think the earliest you could take it is something like 5 days after a missed period. But I think I took mine between like 8 and 10 days. And when I got the results, I was devastated because it said that I wasn't pregnant. And everything in my body was telling me that I was. I was like, why am I getting all of these pre-pregnancy symptoms and or early pregnancy symptoms and I'm not pregnant? Like, how can that even be possible? And it really took me several days to just process everything because I just knew that it had worked. I mean, I'd put so much time and effort into, and money into getting pregnant, and that letdown was huge. But that wouldn't be the first. The first 2 times that I did IUIs, they were negative. The second 2 times that I did IUIs, they were actually positive, but I had what was called a biochemical pregnancy. In layman's terms, it is a very early miscarriage. The numbers are just not high enough to be sustainable. That means there's some kind of problem with the embryo. And so the second 2 tries, instead of being devastated the same way I was the first and the second time, I was actually hopeful because I was like, well, at least you can get pregnant. Now you know you can get pregnant, right? But that still wasn't without its own issues. And so next time we'll talk a little bit more about what a biochemical pregnancy is, what I learned during that time, and then what I did next. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Rainbow Stork.